Come on in, pull up
Come
a
on
chair.
in, pull up a
Gaming Gang
chair.
Dispatch
Gaming Gang
is in the
Dispatch
air.
is in the air.
Howdy gang
and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios.
I'm Jeff McAleer,
your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by,
obviously enough,
thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief.
So welcome aboard, everyone.
Tonight is Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. This is live stream 1350.
If you're not overly familiar with the show,
let me just point out it's super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop role-playing game news.
Normally,
I will tackle a topic related to our hobby.
On occasion, we will
take first looks at games, and very rarely I might do a live review.
But following up on Gen Con 2026,
there are a lot of things for us to take a peek at.
So I'm doing more
live first looks.
Probably for the next
couple of weeks.
Most of the episodes
are going to have live first looks,
including
today's, because I am going to share a peek inside the 2026 convention exclusive adventures from Free League Publishing. So there is one for Alien the Role-Playing Game, another for Dragonbane. We also have one for
Invincible Superhero
Role-Playing. I don't know why I just zoned on that.
As well as
Vaesen.
Yeah. Very nice. So we're going to take
a peek at those.
Now keep in mind, you can
only purchase these
at game shows
that Free League Publishing is exhibiting at. This is something that they started in Sweden. Now they carried over into the US. But
think at some point you'll be
able to get these in PDF.
So at least you'll be able to get
your hands on them.
So there is that. So that's what's on the agenda.
So that's what's on the agenda
for
tonight.
Of course, when you're not watching videos
on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for our latest tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are never going to see here on YouTube. You know the drill. Geek on at thegaminggang.com.
And then, of course, because this is a
live show, there's chat available.
You must be a subscriber
to the channel for at least an hour before you can take part in chats.
How I keep some of the more
unusual commenters at bay.
And of course, if you check
out that box and you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my absolute best to respond. First out the gate tonight is
the little madman,
good friend of the show, and one of our chat moderators. The tabletop scholars with us, as is Kathy Evans, Peaceful Porcupine, the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D is chiming on in.
So audio's
coming up doubled.
All right, hold on,
everybody.
Let me take a quick peek here. Sorry about that. I was working on some stuff.
Hang on. So I was supposed to do an interview with Professor DM last night, and that didn't come about. So I was messing around with some settings in that, because trying to plug in like a Zoom conference into the software that I use to do the streaming, and that is not necessarily overly complex, but it is a little bit that you got to screw around with. Okay, so now I guess we're okay. Good thing I took a peek at chat, huh? go the whole show and be like, yeah. So, anyway. Feel like, blah, driving me mad. Sorry about that, folks. Did not know. So we've got that. Looks like we're cleared up now. Very nice. Okay, so let's see. Who else do we have in chat? No Limelight Productions. Kevin R. Smith has popped on in. Max Apocalypse is here. I think I've said hello to almost everyone. Nope. Semper Buffo. And J-Man. We have Katie Olin Jr. Oh, K. Dolan Jr. I bet you that's it. And Lona's Cave, as well as Troy Cornelson. Troy Cornelson normally shows up just before the show's ending. So that's it for tonight, gang. Good things. Stop by. Thanks very much. So, at the end, scene starts playing. Anyways, so looks like we got a nice chat rocking and rolling already. Very cool. So let's jump on into the news because I got quite a bit of it tonight. Making its way into stores is Starfinder Absalom Station, Center of the Universe. And of course, who else but I would have the lowdown from Paizo Inc. Absalom Station is a famous port of call at the center of the galaxy. It's a place where worlds and cultures collide and where danger and opportunity lurk around every corner. This 164-page hardcover rulebook presents new player options, GM tools, and lore for creating Starfinder adventures on Absalom Station or anywhere in the galaxy. The book includes an astounding array of foes and friends likely to show up on a space station, campaign-ready information about culture, lodging, and travel on Absalom Station, including new lore about the station's infamous districts and neighborhoods. You'll find 4 new archetypes for the Aspis Consortium, Ghost Couriers, Eyes Wide Agency, and Stewards factions, 2 new playable species, the mysterious bovine humanoids called Noir, and the aberrant collectors known as Nerfuroids. Okay. You'll also get a fold-out poster map of the entire space station. Starfinder Absalom Station is the definitive source on the galaxy's most famous and important space station. Plan your visit today. The 164-page hardcover will carry an MSRP of $49.99. If you want to score the PDF, you can do so for $19.99. And hopefully we get an opportunity to take a peek at this. So we have received the PDFs. I have not seen physical copies of the latest wave yet. I will say I've got conflicting information. I've got info saying that these aren't in stores yet, later in August. And then I have other online retailers saying, oh, yeah, it's in stock. So I don't know. I have reached out to my contact over at Paizo Inc. All right, Josh Torbert has popped on into chat. Welcome aboard. Moonright Long, there's a new supplement which is available in PDF for Warhammer 40K Roleplay Wrath and Glory from our friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I've got the lowdown on Lex Imperialist. We are here to ensure compliance. If you must execute 1,000 to remind the 1,000,000 of their duty to the throne, then doing so knowing the Emperor stands at your side. Sounds kind of like madness. Man says they've had a copy of Absalom Station for a couple of weeks. So yes, all right, it's out. It is out. Our Paizo Inc contact is dropping the ball again. Lex Imperialis is a digital supplement for Warhammer 40K roleplay Wrath and Glory that brings the cold fury and ruthless brutality of Imperial justice to your adventures in the 41st millennium. Packed with new archetypes, including the ruthless Chirurgent and the relentless frontline Castigator. I swear for a minute, I almost thought that was the Castrator. No joke. I was like, whoop, but you'll also find a wealth of exciting new talents and brutal war gear designed to crush dissent. The supplement provides everything you need to become the ultimate weapon of the Emperor's Law. Gather your extraction squad and prepare to pursue recidivists across the Gilead sector and beyond with Wrath and Glory, Lex Imperialis. This 20-page PDF includes brand new playable archetypes for the Adeptus Arbites. I'm going to take a guess. That is a pronunciation. I don't think it would be Arbites. That just sounds stupid. Watch, it's like, no, Jeff, it is Arbites. Oh! I think it's Arbites. Brutal new weapons and gear, including the Assault Shield and Soul Guilt Scanner. Devastating talents powered by the Shared Glory Pool. You'll find an exciting new Extraction Squad framework for groups of Arbites agents. Now, keep in mind, the supplement does require the Warhammer 40,000 Roleplay Wrath and Glory core rulebook in order to enjoy. So this PDF is available right now. It is over at DriveThruRPG, and it is $4.99. It is also going to be tonight's giveaway. Well, how about that? Kevin R. Smith says, given the edginess of 40K, Castrator actually sounds plausible. Yeah. Kind of does, doesn't it? So there you go. Mark Hawkswell has popped on into chat. Good to see you once again. So yes, stay tuned. Trivia question on the horizon to win a copy of this and a surprise. We'll talk about that in a moment. On to our next news piece. Hey, so if you enjoy Battletech, or maybe you want to check out Battletech, maybe you're curious what it's all about, well, Catalyst Game Labs has teamed up with Humble Bundle for an offer featuring the Battletech role-playing game and more. And I've got the deets on the deal. Rule your universe. Blast off to the stars and beyond with Battletech. This science fiction tabletop role-playing game sets players down in the middle of a space opera of epic proportions, where empires rise and fall and the future of humanity rests on your shoulders. This bundle of Battletech PDFs from Catalyst Game Labs is full of guides, rule books, and storylines to put you and your party on the path to universal domination. Immerse yourself in the rich lore of the galaxy. Pick up which faction you'll represent in the looming conflict. Hop inside a battle mech and choose from a vast array of combat zones in which to test your mettle. Enter a universe of possibility with this Battletech bundle. Grab it now at the price of your choice and support Gamers Outreach with your purchase. Geez, English, Jeff. Pretty easy. Once again, you'll support Gamers Outreach with your purchase. You can jump aboard for as little as $5. You can make a minimum donation of $18 or more if you'd like to score all 20 PDFs in the offer. These savings do run through August 27th. Now, the codes for these are redeemable through DriveThruRPG. So there is that as well. I got to be very honest. Those Patreon members at the $10 or more level received copies of the Battletech core rulebook for the role-playing game. So every month, our $10 and higher tier members of Patreon will get a mystery PDF. And yes, this time out, it was A Time of War. Alrighty then, let's keep moving along. Modiphius Entertainment has released their latest Pay What You Want Star Trek Adventures brief. And I've got the scoop on Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Despite lukewarm fan reactions to Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, the film has some of the best character moments of any in the franchise. The trinity of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in particular was given a great deal of material, though all of the main characters got to have their moments. Scotty, in particular, was given ample opportunity to shine. It was against the mysterious character Sybok that most of these character moments were realized. The simple revelation that Sybok was Spock's brother, for instance, caused instant tension between Kirk and Spock. Kirk is angry that Spock didn't shoot Sybok in defense of the ship, and the truth of Spock's relationship to their antagonist didn't help. It was McCoy who rightly pointed out that Spock could shoot Sybok as easily as he could have shot Kirk. That is to say, not at all. Early in the film, McCoy discusses families, stating that other people have them. As the film closes, Spock is mourning his brother, and Kirk commiserates. He lost a brother once, after all. But he's not talking about Sam, the brother he lost on the Deneva colony all those years ago. It's only then that he realizes something that the fans have known for years. Family isn't necessarily genetics. Sometimes it's the ones you choose to surround yourself with. This packet provides 4 detailed mission briefs set in and around the events of Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Each brief can be modified for use as adventures in your Star Trek Adventures campaigns set in the movie era, or really any other era of play with some minor modifications. Each mission is designed to stand alone, though they could easily be strung together into a story arc or added to an existing campaign. These mission briefs are suitable for use with any edition of Star Trek Adventures, as well as the Captain's Log solo role-playing game. The 10-page PDF is, once again, Pay What You Want at Drive-Thru RPG. Kevin R. Smith said, they got lots of material, most of it incredibly mediocre. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Star Trek V. No. So I always got a kick out of this story about Harlan Ellison. He was a character, right? So Harlan Ellison had written a Star Trek movie script, or at least he had written a treatment, as far as I know, and it was going to be that the Enterprise meets God, right? Which eventually sort of is a storyline in the Star Trek films. In fact, I guess William Shatner wanted to direct a Star Trek movie where the Enterprise does go to heaven or whatever. So anyway, it's my understanding that the Harlan Ellison story, the movie would have wrapped up with the Enterprise at some sort of barrier that they're firing their phasers at, their proton torpedoes, all that stuff. Or photon, I should say. Proton is something different. And they finally blow a hole through, and looking back at them is an eye. And that would have been it. I told you, Harlan Ellison was a character. And I thought it was funny that he'd actually written a treatment or the script for a Trek movie, and he supposedly hated Trek because of the script that he did for the original series, which is probably the absolute best episode of the original series. So, yes, Kevin R. Smith also points out, here you go, that's what I was just mentioning, City on the Edge of Forever. Yep. So, Kevin R. Smith says, I'm shocked giving the controversy about that one. Yeah, because he was pissed of the changes that got made. Funny enough, I know we're kind of going off on a little tangent here. I think it was IDW Publishing actually released, I think it's 4 issues, 4 or 6. And it is Harlan Ellison's City on the Edge of Forever for Star Trek. That was a few years ago. I'm not sure how it turned out, but, and I think it even had some notes from Harlan Ellison, although I'm pretty sure he had already passed when that came out. Josh Torbert says the original series is their favorite Star Trek. My favorite is Next Generation. I like the original series, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Next Generation is my favorite. My fiance at the time kept calling Data Dana. It was like, no, it's Data. She's like, oh, what? Wasn't there the episode that they find Data's head in San Francisco? They're like excavating something and they find his head. We were watching the episode and she's like, oh my gosh, it's Dana's head. Like, it's Data, for God's sake. All right, let's wrap up with my final news piece because there's an interesting looking new role-playing game powered by the Year Zero engine, which has arrived from LateGaming. And I've got the scoop on Majestic. They lied about Roswell. 1980s America. The Cold War is approaching boiling point. Nuclear war could begin with a misunderstanding, say a radar return, or the intelligence services are riddled with secrets because somewhere behind the black budgets and redacted files, another war has already begun. In 1947, something crashed outside Roswell. The United States government recovered it, made contact with its occupants, and created Majestic 12 to manage the consequences. For decades, uneasy bargains with the Greys bought humanity time and alien technology. Now the bargain is breaking down. Abductions are increasing. Mimics walk around in stolen human faces. Harvesters are operating openly enough to leave bodies behind. And somewhere inside Majestic 12, people charged with defending humanity has decided collaboration is the safer option. Majestic is a role-playing game of techno-thriller action, espionage, conspiracy, psychological horror, and alien invasion. That's quite a mashup. Set against the paranoia and technological optimism of the 1980s. Play a Majestic 12 field agent, assault specialist, government investigator, obsessive ufologist, traumatized abductee, watch out for those probes, someone left behind by an alien encounter, or something considerably less human. You know the aliens exist. What you don't know is who has already made a deal with them. Raid covert laboratories, investigate impossible disappearances, hunt things pretending to be human, recover alien technology, and decide how far you are willing to go to understand it. Watch your stability, manage the attention your operations attract, turn captured Xeno material into new weapons and technologies, and build missions from a 5-layer generator designed to produce operations you can run almost immediately. Inside this 291-page core book, you'll find character creation and archetypes, skills and qualities, combat, trauma and stability, weapons and vehicles, Majestic 12 operations, heat, alien salvage and R&D, extensive mission generation tools, locations, and NPCs, operational bases, and detailed dossiers on the Greys, Mimics, Harvesters, and the Fifth Column. The 291-page PDF is available right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $15. Pretty good deal. Like I said, sounds interesting. Sounds a little bit Delta Green in some respects, but only dealing with aliens, not necessarily cosmic horror. Danny Gable and Grouchy Lenny have jumped on in. J-Man points out they're republishing Dark Conspiracy. Yes. Grouchy Lenny says, this sounds interesting. I miss Conspiracy X. I remember I had a contributor, they reviewed, I think it was the second edition of Conspiracy X. They said it was pretty good. It was pretty good. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go visit, say, I don't know, Drive-Thru RPG, Storyteller's Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, Wargame Vault, any of the numerous One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a 5% commission on most sales. And all those commissions really do add up, help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you enjoy the Gaming Gang, if you find this to be a valuable resource, hell, if you like what we do, there are a couple of other ways that you can support the outlet. First, by making a one-time donation by way of PayPal. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Wow, that's refreshing. You can also become a member of our Patreon. Yes, that's right. Once again, as I mentioned, all of our $10 tier and higher Patreon members are now receiving a mystery role-playing game PDF every month. And I do promise it's going to be a PDF that is not, it's not going to be like an adventure or something like that. It's going to be something that can be utilized like a core rule book or a system agnostic setting guide sort of thing. It's not just going to be, oh, look, it's an adventure from a 15-year-old game. Thanks, Jeff. You're so generous. Hey, I like to give a shout out and say thank you to our Patreon members on every live show. So, Tip of the Cap to Ben Oathwaite, Kuval, Kevin R. Smith, Talzek, Peaceful Porcupine, William King, the Tabletop Scholar, Sean O'Donnell, Herman Lutman, Gustavo Cavalho, Kevin King, Game Cat, RPG Munch, Tier 2 DM, Far Adrift, Pete Stracklich, Dan Webb, Tessie Trekkie, Agile Monk, The Madman, and Flint Fireforge. Thank you all very kindly. Captain Infinity Time Travel Police has popped on in. Welcome. All right, so a few things to discuss before we get into the heart of the show. So I wrapped up the summer used game sale to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. And when it was all said and done, almost $700. So, and then I'm going to just round it off to 700. So not too shabby, not too shabby at all. I will say the fine folks over at the Polar Vortex convention, which is coming up in February, picked up a bunch of board games because I was doing a buy one, get one free. And then I donated a good $500 in games as well, because they do a charity auction and stuff like that. So I thought, because the reality was, you know, a lot of the games are just sitting here collecting dust. It's one thing, role-playing game books is from time to time, I'll go back and read something, right? But a lot of the board games that I had from, we're rapidly approaching our 17th year of doing this. So I had loads and loads of board games down here in the Duct Tape Studios. So I have culled it out by about half. Yes. So very nice. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, if you took part in the used game sale, thank you very much. I don't know when there will be another one. I already got an email from somebody today because yesterday was the last day. And they were like, oh, so when's the next sale? And it's like, it just ended this sale. I'm not planning on another one. It won't be this year. I can tell you that for sure. So there you go. Anyway, so that is going on. You may have noticed lots of reviews. I reviewed the Laundry Supervisor's Guide. I also have the review for the Invincible Superhero Roleplaying Core Book, as well as the upcoming Cypher Character Rule Book. Yeah. Today's review is the Adventures Companion for Castles and Crusades. And I have 3 more that are in the can, ready to go. And I was about to shoot my review for the Book of Magic for Dragonbane when we had the weather roll on through today. So I was like, better not. I don't want to be shooting a video and then have the power go out in the middle of it. I guess Grouchy Lenny enjoyed the interviews from Gen Con. Cool. I got to be honest, pretty good view numbers so far. I mean, I did 9. I think 7 of the 9 have cracked 1,000 views. And then I believe 4 of the 9 are beyond 2,000 views. So I've heard whispers that the coverage of Gen Con was very, how would I put it? Focused on the content creator and not really informative. I don't know. Only Gen Con coverage I've watched is mine as I put together the videos to put them up. That's it. That was the extent of it. And if it was an interview that I knew I didn't have to do any edits on, I was like, okay, here's the open. Trim off the beginning a little bit where it's like just waiting, are we rolling? We are? Okay. Friday here, so like the rolling part gets cut. And I would cut off the end and put the outro and that was it. But yeah, that's what I've heard from some people out there. In fact, there's been some comments on the videos themselves saying, hey, you know what? This is like informative. I'm learning things as opposed to it's like, oh, look at me. I'm a Gen Con. Look at me. Which is fine, right? But that's not, to me, no, it's like, we want to learn about what's going on. We want some new stuff. Kevin R. Smith says the Cypher review video was about 900 views last they checked. It's kind of interesting as far as, because you never know what people are going to end up looking at, right? But I mean, overall, we already know, and we're not going to rehash this, but that for most outlets out there, especially if you're not huge, views are down. Just how it works. Views are down. Gaming's not a thing that YouTube is trying to push right now. YouTube's in flux. We've talked about that too. But anyway, I have noticed when I do a review of something that hasn't come out yet, like as an example, the Cypher character rulebook comes out August 25th. So it's been up for a couple of days. Yeah, I think it's 2 days. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't know, because I did a bunch of reviews. So anyway, I find that like early on, it'll get, halfway decent views. And then it'll kind of be a trickle. And then when the game comes out, all of a sudden it's like another big boost. Because then people are like, oh, that's out? I wonder what anybody's saying about it. You know? So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's fine. The Madman says they need to catch up on those interviews. They always enjoy them. They've had too much going on recently. Well, the interviews are fun. My favorite, you know, I don't like to say, well, my favorites were, I will say, I think the Troll Lord Games interview tends to be kind of funny in parts. And then my Cubicle 7 entertainment interview is a fun interview as well. And we talk about a ton of stuff. Something else I always get a kick out of. It's like I could talk to a company like Free League Publishing. A short interview, it's maybe 12 minutes or so, and we talk about a lot of stuff. And immediately the comments are, well, how come you didn't ask about this? It's like, because it wasn't on my mind and my subject didn't bring it up. So they're not that concerned about it either. Kind of weird. Anyway, so lots of reviews. All right, so let's talk about what's cooking this week. Tomorrow, we are going to take a peek inside Gorga, the Curse of Death role-playing game. This is out of Europe. If I remember correctly, I think it's out of Italy. I will double check. Very interesting looking artwork. I sort of have the feeling it's maybe a little, not that it's built off of it, but maybe it's got a little bit of a like Mirkberg sort of vibe to it. It's funny because it's actually got like, and it's a soft cover book, but it has a jacket on it. I'm like, okay. So we're going to take a peek at this on tomorrow's show. Then Scott from Fantasy Games Unlimited sent me a package. You may recall we did a show where it was one of our forgotten favorites, and we talked about Bushido. So I reached out after you because they're around. I don't know if they've always been around. I think they came back. And I reached out to see if, maybe we could get some copies of stuff, share video of them. So he wrote back and he said he was going to send me a package of some stuff that I probably was not aware of. So I got the package. So we have got, now I have heard of all but the last one. So we have got Flashing Blades, which I do believe this is a musketeer sort of role-playing game. So this is the core book. This looks like this is an adventure book. And then another adventure book and a fourth adventure book. No, third adventure book. Yeah, because we have the core book. So we got Flashing Blades. We have Psy-World. I remember this one. I never saw it. I do remember it. And I don't know if you hear it jingling around. It's got dice in the box. I'm guessing it might be 6-sided. Although the FGU role-playing games tended to be 20-sided dice. So maybe it's a 20-sider. So that is this, which I believe this was kind of, from the 80s. a modern era where it was kind of like espionage, but with psychic powers. Then we have Underground Railroad, which is an adventure for World. And then here's the one that I was not familiar with. And this is actually the heaviest box. I think there's 2 booklets in this. Year of the Phoenix. And I think this is supposed to be like a future US versus Soviet Union kind of thing. But I think there's like space stations and stuff like that. So we're going to be taking a peek at these. So I think on Thursday's show, unless something radically changes, we're going to take a look at Flashing Blades as well as the adventures. So there you go. I like the artwork on the cover here. Not too shabby. The artwork on the other books, they certainly remind me of 80s releases. That is for certain. So that's cool. So that's what showed up. Also, I think I mentioned this last week. Talked to the, well, new to me marketing person with Modiphius Entertainment. We're going to get to see the core book for Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition. I believe they're also going to send along the Battle of Boston. I think it's Fallout Factions. It's a starter set for. So we're going to check out that. I think she's sending along 5 parsecs from home. And she also mentioned that when XCOM starts rolling out, they're going to send that my way as well. So lots of goodies, lots of goodies. Plus, there are about 3 or 4 more not interviews. What am I thinking? I got interviews on the brain now. I have 3 or 4 more reviews that I'm ready to go with. A couple of adventures for Castles and Crusades, the aforementioned Book of Magic, and I also have a review for a Traveler book. So there we go. Keith Lewis says, if you're flashing blades, you're likely to have your junk cut off. Bex Apocalypse says, FGU box set in decent shape. Well, they come from FGU. So, yeah. I would guess, just taking a look at these, that these might be games that have been in this shrink wrap since the 80s. I don't know. I mean, this looks pretty clean, though. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, just like we had way back in the day when Rick Loomis was still around and Flying Buffalo Games was still around. He kept all his, his inventory in a garage in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I was like, yeah. And sometimes you would run into Flying Buffalo Games at like Gen Con, Origins, and they would be selling like Tunnels and Trolls and Nuclear War. And then there'd be a bunch of stuff that looked like Rick had just taken it out of his garage and was looking to try to sell it. Like it was like, oh, is this like the flea market section of the exhibit area for you? So there you have it. So lots going on, lots cooking. So stay tuned. Hopefully you'll check out some of those videos when they arrive. So tonight we are going to take a peek at the 2026 convention exclusive adventures from Free League Publishing. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
Hey, Mom. Yes, you. Why fuss and fret about dinner? Why not have it right here? Yes, this drive-in offers everyone in the family a real picnic treat for dinner. We've got delicious sandwiches with all the trimmings and your other dinner favorites, plus whatever you want to drink, hot or cold. Come early before the show starts, or eat while you're being entertained, or at intermission time. So why fuss? Give your family a tasty dinner at this drive-in.
This is it. Enemy troops attacking from all sides. Situation calls for the gigantic power-packed missile cannon on wheels. This is Big Shot. Big Shot by Marx. Mounted on its huge six-wheel truck, you can move Big Shot anywhere. Loaded with these long-range rubber-tipped missiles. Set the cap-firing hammer. Swing Big Shot's barrel with this remote control switch. The remote control elevation knob raises and lowers the barrel.
Take it down to elevation 4. There's the target. Ready. Fire!
Wow! Direct hit!
Battery-powered Big Shot comes complete with 3 rubber-tipped missiles, caps, and enemy target. Batteries not included. You're in command with the gigantic power-packed missile cannon on wheels. Bargain-priced Big Shot by Marx. Get it.
Come below, the Wilkins coffee's ready. I don't like coffee. Okay, Mac, have some water. I must have said the wrong thing.
Big Shot pepper and mascot, flavor of the gum hangs on, and that peppermint flavor hangs on, hangs on, hangs on to what it's got.
When Beechnut makes gum, the flavor hangs on.
Yeah, that rush of gushing flavor hangs on, hangs on, hangs on to what it's got.
Hang on to flavor.
By Beechnut, by gum.
Let's prepare for a landing, Brad.
Okay.
In a 40G gravity atmosphere, strange thing happens to man's body and mind. Barry Sullivan and Norma Bengell take you into the most fantastic science fiction adventure ever filmed.
Emergency! Emergency! Conditions desperate. Little chance of survival. Help us.
Mark, look! What have you got? The Galliot. Bert, get me a fix on this right now. Wes, Brad, controls.
Planet of the vampires. Harboring a form of life worse than death. Planet of the bloodless. Creatures who take men's bodies, but attack like vampires.
I'll tell you this, if there are any intelligent creatures on this planet, they're our enemies.
In this outer space world, the living dead try to escape into life.
Salus? No, just his body. And I'm just one of many beings on this planet. And we're fighting to survive. It's imperative that our race continue to exist. We arranged for several of you to kill each other so that we could take over your bodies. You are our last chance.
No, never. We'll all of us give up our lives to save our own race.
I'm sorry, what was that? I had my collar turned up. Could you say that again? Okay, I don't know about that costume design. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Okay, so weirdly enough, this just shows how stupid some people are. I saw online that there were people who were saying, yeah, Planet of the Vampires is a knockoff on Alien. It's like, so do you realize that Planet of the Vampires came out in 1965? How's a knockoff of Alien? Ugh. The stupidity is strong with those people. All righty, so tonight we are going to dive on in and take first looks at the 4 game show or convention exclusives for 2026 from Free League Publishing. So we've got an adventure for Alien, as well as Dragonbane, Invincible Superhero Roleplaying, and Vaesen. So these are only available at shows that Free League Publishing is exhibiting at. I do believe that they will be available at some point in PDF, but to get them physically, you have to be at a show. And I know some people hate convention exclusives, and other people really like it, convention exclusives, because it's like, hey, something special I can get because I was here. So first off, we're going to take a look at Chrysalis for Alien, the role-playing game. And as far as I understand, every single one of these adventures is brand new. So Troy Cornelson says, not an adventure for Alien, you mean for Planet of the Vampires. Yeah, there you go. It's a Chrysalis, an adventure for Planet of the Vampires, the role-playing game. All right, so my collar was able to absorb 3 points of damage. All right, let's see what we got. Now, keep in mind, a few things. And this goes for all of these that we're going to take a look at. My friends over at Free League Publishing were kind enough to provide me copies of these. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. It's important you know that. I'm not going to look at every page of these adventures, and they are adventures. So we're probably going to see some stuff that spoils surprises of the adventures. Just want to let you know. So here we've got our credits. Let's give credit where credit is due. And this actually has a pretty nice, it's not truly cardstock, but it is thicker as far as the cover. So let's see. Let's get an idea of what this adventure is. Sooner or later, most of us need a fresh start, some more than others. Ayos Husti might just be that fresh start for you. Mining planet out in the far reach of the frontier. Ayuhushti is a dangerous place. With skies colored crimson from its red supergiant star, the planet is hot and moist and covered in a number of highly deadly viruses and novel diseases. But it's also a place where you can make a clean break and escape the watchful eyes of prying governments. A place where people don't ask where you came from as long as you share in their burdens. So now you're at Anchorport Station, the last major transportation hub before you can breathe the relatively free, thick air of Ayahushti. You and a handful of others are standing in one of the many bustling docking rings, looking out at your ride to the new home. It's an aging, privately owned vessel, the Velendine. While it's primarily used for cargo, the ship can also manage a few passengers. All right, so you're going to start off on this ship, heading to this planet. Normally, with the Alien, the role-playing game adventures, they're box sets for the most part. And they have decks of cards with pre-generated characters that have various different motives, depending on, what act of the adventure you're in. I believe this is only one act. And I doubt we're going to have pre-generated characters. Yeah. Is that a spoiler? Do we have a xenomorph? Well, here we go. So I said, we're not going to have pre-gens, and there they are. So we've got 10 pages of adventure. So they do have agendas. So we got a company agent, a security specialist, a scientist, a roughneck, as well as a medic. Are these all pre-gens, or are some of these NPCs? Kind of curious. See what the back says. Oh, actually, it's exactly what I read early on. Oh, all in all. Oh, yeah, it includes 5 pre-generated player characters. Seemed like that was more than 5. We got the deck plan of the ship. Pretty nice detailed deck plan, too. Looks pretty good. So all in all, we got a total of 20 pages, I believe. Yep. 20 pages for that. My understanding, these go for $14.99 at the conventions. So there is Alien. Here is Dragonbane. I like Dragonbane. I like Dragonbane a lot. It's, how would I put it? I'm not even going to worry about how I'm going to put it. To me, it's an absolutely smashing design. Although it doesn't stray too far from like 5e. But it's just fun. I mean, come on. A fantasy role-playing game with a race of duck people who are like super bad attitude. Yes, the Mallard folk are an homage to RuneQuest, another role-playing game I really like. All right, so let's read the back here. Osiris slips you into the palace, leading you through empty servants' corridors to the governor's bedchamber. Kalor Golhinstar's breathing is slow and shallow. She then opens a hidden door behind his bed and says, "Here's a stairwell leading down into the crypts. Please hurry. Not only do I fear the governor has little time left, but it's only 2 hours until midnight. If you haven't found the elixir by then, I'm afraid you must flee the catacombs if you're to make it out alive." So looks like we've got a 2-hour time frame here. I think this is kind of a tournament style. The Crypt of the Golden Star is an official convention adventure for the Dragonbane RPG. Over the course of 2 hours, the players will explore the catacombs beneath the city of Foamsvale in search of an elixir that can save the dying governor, Kalor Golhinstar. Along the way, they must weigh what matters most, escaping with pockets full of treasure or making it out alive. Yes. That's something else about these adventures. These are the adventures being run at the conventions. So these are the adventures you can sign up and be part of. So let's see. So we've got deep beneath the city of Foamsvale rest the remains of many of the island of Windheim's most prominent leaders. Catacombs are haunted by undead spirits, and some of the crypts are sealed by magic. The player characters hear a rumor that Governor name Kalor or whatever has been poisoned, and that the only cure is hidden in one of the crypts beneath the city. The group ventures into the catacombs to find the antidote and perhaps some riches as well, as magical artifacts and treasures are said to be hidden within the old tombs. So, guidelines for convention play: keep up the pace, splitting the party, keep track of time, replace dead PCs, reward creative ideas, and enjoy yourself. So we got our adventure opening. So I will say This is a thicker cardstock than the Alien Adventure, and this paperweight's a little heavier too. All right. So there's the crypt. Once again, we're not looking at every page here. So it looks like we've got 13 pages. Looks like our big bad is a mummy. There's the player map. Must be statues here. And we get some pre-gens. Here we go. Archmaster Odhan. Kristana the Bold. Of course, some of this artwork we have seen in previous Dragonbane releases. Alberic Gleamheart. Treasure Hunter. Captain Beatrix Farsail. There's Sailor. There we go. Here's one of our mallards. Macander of Half Bay. I love the artwork. I'm going to clue you in on my review of the Book of Magic. I dig it. I like, it's not going to be for everybody. Yeah, but if you're looking to bring more magic into your Dragonbane games, it's going to be a must-have. Then we got Bastin Bloodjaw. I think some of these pre-gens I've seen before. Like in the starter set. Pretty sure. There you go. Look, Kevin R. Smith said the same thing. I think some of these might be pre-gens from the box set. Now we have Orla Moonsilver. I was going to say, because I remember this Wolf Folk. I forget what they're called. And then I remember this one too. All right. So what we end up with here, page-wise, felt like it was more than 20 pages. Oh, yeah, because I think last numbered page is 14. No, 13. So, yeah, about 22, 24. Nice. Okay, so that's Dragonbane, the Crypt of the Golden Star. And we got Invincible Superhero Roleplaying, which I have just reviewed the core rulebook. I reviewed the starter set a few weeks ago. So let's see what we've got here. On the 1-year anniversary of the brutal battle between Omni-Man and his son Invincible that caused massive destruction worldwide, the city prepares a memorial event to honor those who were lost. Machine Head, the notorious criminal kingpin, sees the gathering as a perfect chance to strike at the many superheroes present. Can you survive open season on superheroes? I believe the name of this adventure is Superhero Season. Also, nice, heavy cardstock on that cover. So, once again, we got our credits there. This short adventure for Invincible Superhero Roleplaying throws heroes into a deadly predicament as a massive bounty is placed on their heads. One lucrative enough to send every supervillain in the city scrambling to collect. The adventure is intended for convention play and can be completed in a single setting. Playing it requires access to the large city map and standees found in the Invincible Superhero Roleplaying starter set. All right. So that would mean our heroes are going to be Invincible, Adam Eve, Robot. Hell, is that his name? Robot? I'm trying to remember. So yes, that is the map that we get in the starter set. Looks like we also have the innocent bystanders. So we've got that. And we've got our baddies. So Act 1, get rich quick. The heroes must travel to the first bomb site at the metro station. Stop the explosives there from going off before it's too late. Preventing the explosives from going off is a challenge. See the sidebar challenge. metro station explosives. The time limit begins as soon as Cecil ends his briefing, so make sure the heroes know the clock is ticking. Draw initiative right away. They can get to the metro station using their movement powers, flight or leaping, and they can choose to take stress to get there faster and save a round or two on the challenge. So one of the interesting things about the Invincible Superhero Role-Playing starter set adventure is this section here. The villain banter. We got villain tactics, which I definitely appreciated. I thought the villain banter was pretty cool. And it's like, okay, so if the heroes do this, they might say this. I was like, oh, okay, nice. So here are our baddies. We got Iguana, Kill Cannon, Magmaniac, Magnatac, and Tethered Tyrant. So if you've watched the Invincible series on Prime, you have seen these. So we got Machine Head Goons. Then we got Thugs. We've got Concussion Turrets and Hunter Killer Drones. Well, looks like the work is cut out for them, eh? Chris Lundgren and his cockatiel buddy are joining us in chat. Bamboozled Great Crowd is also with us tonight. Says Temple of the Green Devil is a tournament adventure for Shadow Dark. It's really fun if you can get two groups to play it at the same time against each other. That is something that TSR used to do on occasion early on with early Gen Cons. That I think, if I remember right, I think they did it twice. Because interestingly enough, some people may not know this, but there were a lot of modules that came out for Dungeons and Dragons and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons that evolved from tournaments. So one example is against the Slavers. That was a tournament adventure that was played over 3 days at Gen Con. There were a few like that. All right, Act 2, Shooting Gallery. Once the heroes deal with the first bomb site, any additional events, and you're ready to move to the final act. Oh, so it's 2 acts. First, allow the heroes to catch their breath for a few minutes and play out a social scene together. Just a bit of post-battle banter. This will also allow them to recover some health and resolve, which will be critical for the second act. Next, read or paraphrase the sidebar below titled One More Bomb as Cecil. Things and Stuff is with us. Welcome. So they're kind of clueless what's going on here. Oh, it's Chris Lundgren. It's trying to trick us. So yes, previously I saw hello from Buddy and myself. I didn't even look to see who it was. I'm like, oh, it's Chris. Yes, this is for Invincible Superhero Role-Playing. We're taking a look at the convention exclusive adventures that are available from Free League Publishing. These also happen to be the adventures that they are running at game shows. So we've taken a look at the adventure for Alien, the role-playing game, as well as the Dragonbane adventure. Now this is Invincible Superhero Role-Playing. I gotta say, I do dig this role-playing game. I did mention in my review, mentioned this in the starter set review, as well as the core rules review, that this is not going to be for everyone because there aren't hundreds of powers. If I remember correctly, I think there are 69, dude, powers in the core rules. And some people out there want, just the most minute detail about superhero powers. Well, that is not what's going to happen. And I do notice these are not the heroes from the starter set. Well, so what standees are you supposed to use? I don't recall seeing these standees. We got Kid Thor. So you're the son and successor of Thor-Man. Got Knockout. So there's two. Yeah, I guess there were two new ones. So obviously, when they're running this, they're running it with the starter set, obviously, because they needed the map and stuff like that. So we've got social scenes. So there we go. So we got Robot, Monster Girl, Rexplode, Adam Eve, Bulletproof, Knockout, and Kid Thor. So no Invincible, although Invincible is included in the starter set if you need an extra hero. Flint Fireforge is with us tonight. Welcome. So they're just popping on in. All right. So that is superhero season for Invincible. And then another horror role-playing game that I am a fan of. We've got Vaesen. This is the Archivist's Curse. And very, very nice. This has the nicest cover. At her birth, no sun shone bright, no bird broke in its song. A figure stood beside her crib in shadows deep and long. That child shall never freely bloom, nor join the joyful crowd, for her fragile life is sealed, to darkness she is vowed. So sing my song, O twilight child, with heart so full of pain, as shadows whisper out your name within this dark domain. I started reading it. I didn't realize it was going to be a poem. I'm like, oh, I guess I better get into a poem meter there, right? As the autumn darkness falls, 5 strangers arrive at the grand building of the National Archives on Knight's Isle. Little do they know that their visit will awaken a slumbering darkness and set in motion a series of events that could change their lives forever or end them. The Archivist's Curse is an official convention adventure for Vaesen, Nordic horror role-playing. Okay, so we've seen that artwork before. Let's see, paper stock on this, also very nice. But of course, I'm mentioning that, and the vast majority of people watching this are not going to be able to buy these physically. But like I said, I'm almost positive they're going to be available at some point in PDF. Let's see. Well, what do we got? It looks like we've got, obviously, a curse. It's a mystery in which the player characters may shed light on an old tragedy and save not just one, but 2 souls from a terrible curse. Here comes some spoilers. This story begins 3 decades before the events of our mystery. Cornelia and Rufus Silverstrom met at Uppsala University and soon discovered a shared passion for ancient cultures, particularly those of the region then known as the Near East. They studied ancient languages and translated age-old texts. Their book on Egyptian funerary rituals quickly gained recognition in academic circles. They married in their final year at university, and thanks to a generous scholarship, were able to honeymoon in the Levant. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can jump ahead, find out what's going on. Okay, so here's the curse. One late evening, shouldn't it be late one evening? Well, Cornelia was expecting their second child. Something strange happened. She had recently received a shipment from Damascus containing a statue of Lamashtu, a demon in Mesopotamian mythology. Even as she unpacked the strange artifact from the excavations, she felt that something was wrong. The moment she touched it, a wave of nausea swept over her, and the room seemed to grow darker. That night, she dreamed of a demonic creature with a lion's head, bird's feet, donkey ears, and sharp claws chasing her among the library shelves. Soon she began hearing a deep female voice urging her to harm herself and her children. Aha. So their daughter Fanny was born. So Looks like we got quite a bit of a story here. Okay. So let's see. This mystery does not have the usual invitation. The player characters all possess the sight, which in Vaesen allows them to see Vaesen, which are like supernatural creatures, which can be seen by other people if they want to be seen. They're not members of the society. Oh, well, usually player characters in Vaesen are part of this society that investigates all these unusual happenings. Instead, each has their own reasons for visiting the National Archives, see the character descriptions, and happens to arrive around the same time as Fanny, who is now, by this point, she's probably a young woman, or maybe a middle-aged woman. So we got the medium talent. All right. So kind of explaining if somebody's got the medium talent, how you might be utilizing it in this adventure. I like the Johan Egerkran's artwork throughout. It's always really nice. So let's see. So it looks like you're going to end up taking on a demon. Something I really like about Vaesen that not many horror role-playing games share, and that is the vast majority of the Vaesen adventures have a melancholic angle to them, which I find very, very unique, very interesting, very European, really. And I find that really nice. A lot of times the adventures do not have like happy endings. It's sort of the happiest ending for that situation. So yes, I am a fan of Vaesen. I know some people out there get upset. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're just online upset that I dig as many role-playing games as I do. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to be? Like, oh, 5e, that's it. That's the only game out there. Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, yeah. Now, that is not how it works. All right. So we've got an occultist. We have a private detective. We have a servant. We have an academic. We've got a vampire hunter, which is from the Mythic Carpathia supplement. We got our map of the National Archives, which we also have as a handout. We'll see maps like this too from time to time. It's usually building layouts. So Clint Fireforge says they've always been curious about Vaesen. Got to hand it to Free League. Don't know how many companies that have had so many good products across genres. I agree. I definitely agree. You do see a lot of companies. Well, okay, I won't say a lot. You will see a number of companies that dips their toes into a lot of different genres and don't necessarily pull them all off. For the most part, mechanically, I have not seen a Free League Publishing role-playing game that I thought didn't work. We're going to swing back over to the other camera, and then I will finish up this line of thought. Even role-playing releases that I did not give great review scores to, such as The Walking Dead. It was fine, but for one, I think Free League Publishing got on board too late. that The Walking Dead had pretty much run its course. I mean, the series itself, the core series was over when that role-playing game came out. I'm 90% positive. Although I know there are the other spin-offs and things like that. So I think on one hand, it was sort of like, okay, we've seen a lot of zombie role-playing games. And there just wasn't much to it, especially the starter set. But mechanically, the game was fine. I didn't have any issues with it mechanically. I just think the design philosophy on some of like the way the adventures were set up, and there wasn't much to the adventures. So that's why I wasn't a big fan. Outside of that, I think if I rack my brain, probably the only Free League Publishing role-playing game that I was kind of like, it's all right. It's okay. So, even though I gave like a pretty poor score to the Tales from the Loop starter set, it was only because there wasn't anything in it. It wasn't because I didn't like Tales from the Loop. I think Tales from the Loop is a cool role-playing game. I swear, I thought I heard that there's a new supplement that's going to be coming out for it. It's been a while. Been a long time. All right, so that is a peek at the Vaesen adventure, the Invincible Superhero Role-Playing adventure, the Dragonbane adventure, as well as Alien the Role-Playing Games adventure from Free League Publishing. These are the adventures that are being run by Free League Publishing at game shows this year, as well as their exclusives that can be purchased from Free League Publishing at the conventions and game shows only. Once again, I'm pretty sure we'll see these in PDF at some point. I think Tomas from Free League Publishing mentioned that. I don't recall exactly, but still. So that was kind of cool, taking a peek through that. Why not? So if you joined late, tomorrow we are going to take a look at Gorga, The Curse of Death. And it's spelled DETH. Guess they're dropping the A on that. And interesting looking book here. Hopefully there's some artwork as I open it up. So yeah, the text looks great, Jeff. So we're going to dive on into this tomorrow. And then I tossed them over there during the brief intermission. Duh. And then on Thursday, we're going to do a Forgotten Favorites episode. And we're going to take a look at a role-playing game that I had heard of. I've never seen this. It is from Fantasy Games Unlimited. It is Flashing Blades. And we've got the core book as well as 3 adventures. So we are going to dive on in and take a peek at these. So that'll be on Thursday's show. Also, lots of reviews. I've already shared a bunch of reviews. And I've got others that are going to pop the next few days. And then I've also got a few more that I'm going to shoot. So weirdly enough, I have to go house sit, well, pet sit, really, at my brother's again. It wasn't that long ago that I spent practically a whole week there. I only have to be there Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday. Could I say it's a menagerie of animals over there that, no one will be around to care for. So I will not be shooting anything over the weekend. So I am going to sock some stuff away. So you will have some videos to watch over the weekend while I'm sitting there fairly bored at my brother's. All righty then. Who just popped in? Boomerman Dan Webb. Good to see you once again. All right. So that is it for this time out. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, you get a tip of the cap. Oh, shoot. I forgot to do the trivia question. Good thing I thought of it. Good thing we're kind of zipping along. Shouldn't say zipping along. We're at 90 minutes almost. Okay, so tonight's giveaway is the PDF of the Warhammer 40,000 roleplay Wrath and Glory Lex Imperialis from Cubicle 7 Games. So the trivia question is, what is the supreme leader of the Adeptus Arbites title? What are they called? First person to give me the correct answer will win a copy of not only the Imperius, I'm sorry, it is Imperialis, Lex Imperialis. You'll also get a copy of the starter set in PDF. Otherwise, how would you be using it, right? So there you've got that. So first person to get the correct answer, and everybody gets one guess. I don't want to see somebody like repeatedly, yeah, this. No. So you get one shot. If you get it right, hooray. Big kahuna, says Boomerman Dan Webb. First two guesses are not correct. Anyway, if you are watching after the fact, like maybe on Memorex, you can get into the contest. Super easy. Be a subscriber. Comment on the video. Hopefully you give the video a like. And I will randomly choose one commenter from tonight's show, and they will be announced on tomorrow's show. All right. So we had two guesses. They're both incorrect. Did everybody like take off already? That may be the case. Like, oh, just wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to go. I'll give it another moment or two. And if not, then there won't be a giveaway tonight. But I will actually provide the giveaway for someone in the comment section. So, of course, if you are watching live and you aren't a winner, comment in the comment section. Get in the running. So there you have it. Yeah, I think everybody probably bailed out because they're like, oh, just wrap it up. Gotta go. See ya. All right, so I'm going to give the answer. It is the Grand Provost Marshal is the supreme leader. That is the title of the supreme leader of the Adeptus Arbites. All right, so you can get into the running. Like the video, be a subscriber, comment on this video. Once again, I'll pick one at random, and I will announce the winner on tomorrow's show. All right, so if you're watching live and took part in chat, you get that tip of the cap. But I know a lot of folks, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the channel. It really does mean a lot. And we have passed, what did we just move past? 17.4K subs. I think that's what it was. I think that's what we're at. So, yeah, not too shabby. Kind of cool. It's weird, you know, we get more subs. Views kind of stay the same, but yeah, all right. Okay. Anyway, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are never going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And then, of course, if you like the video, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. And if you ring the bell, select all notifications. because it'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I share other videos, such as my recent review of the Cypher character rulebook from Monty Cook Games. If you're curious about the new edition of Cypher, give it a peek. I get into a bit of detail about it, and I tell you what I think. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you for watching, and until I see you next time, certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.